They did this deal together, basically, Rob and Nico. And over the next 20 years, when Nike did something with Kobe, which was a lot, it was Nico Harrison executing it. It was Rob Pelinka negotiating it. That they did this for years.
But the way he started trusting me was really my approach to everything I did. Right. It was the same approach he had to basketball.
In the years to come, Pelinka and Harrison would be ingratiated into Kobe's inner circle. According to Ramona Shelburne, they would travel the world and have joint family vacations. These were the two people that Kobe had his ultimate trust in, through his ups and downs, including a very public trade demand. On May 30th, 2007, Kobe would publicly demand a trade from the Los Angeles Lakers.
Are you saying right here on this show that you want to be traded?
Yeah, I would like to be traded, yeah.
How bad did the situation get? The Kobe Bryant was booed by LA fans on opening night. Now, one of the deals that was very close to happening was a deal with the Chicago Bulls, where the Lakers would trade out Kobe Bryant and in turn receive Joakim Noah, Ben Gordon, Tyus Thomas, and Luol Deng. However, when Kobe got wind of the deal, he would publicly veto it and not waive his no-trade clause. Why? Because Kobe realized that the Bulls, by sending away Luol Deng, would be deployed of talent. If Kobe were to be dealt to Chicago, he would want to play with Deng. And ultimately, a deal could never materialize. Kobe thus stayed in LA and won 2 more championships. However, in the 2011 offseason, with the Lakers being swept by the eventual champs, the Dallas Mavericks, it was clear that a move was needed for LA to contend again, a move that could bridge the current and the future, to pair the aging Kobe with a young star for one final run. And the Lakers managed to do exactly that. On December 8, 2011, Adrian Wojnarowski would break the news that the Hornets were working to finalize a deal to send Chris Paul to the Lakers. Now keep in mind that this was during the NBA lockout, where tension between players and owners, between small market teams and big market teams, are already at an all-time high. A move like this while the lockout was ongoing may be a little bit problematic. Thus, just an hour later, Woj would reveal that there are many NBA owners who had pushed back on the deal. Then it happened. The deal was dead. Woj would reveal that the NBA had caved to the pressure from other owners. One day later, the identity of the owner who was leading the charge against the trade was revealed. None other than Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban, saying, quote, "We went through this lockout for a reason. One of the reasons is to give small market teams the ability to keep their stars and the ability to compete." Now, let's talk about Chris Paul for a second, a Nike athlete. One of the main ways to identify if Nike is serious about a player is if they're given a camp. The Chris Paul basketball camp was a big one, a camp that made a lasting impression on future stars like Steph Curry.
LeBron, like you said, I went to his camp. Chris Paul, Steve Nash. I got to spend a week with each at different camps this summer.
Stephen Curry, by 2013, has made a name for himself, leading the underdog Warriors all the way to the Western Conference semis. And to make it better, that offseason, the rising Curry would become a sneaker free agent. His current shoe brand, Nike, is in prime position to keep him. Nico Harrison, just like years prior with Kobe, was tasked with re-signing Curry. But Curry was really just an afterthought, again as Nike was more focused on up-and-coming stars like Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis, both who were given their own basketball camps. Nike did not offer Steph his own basketball camp. Not only that, Del Curry, Steph Curry's father, would allege that one of the executives pronounced Stephen Curry's name as Stephon Curry. And it doesn't just end there. The PowerPoint slide would have Kevin Durant's name instead of Curry's.
Nike made a mistake, but in all honesty, if he would have stayed with Nike, his business would be a monster right now.
On May 7th, 2017, Rob Pelinka will be hired by the Los Angeles Lakers as their new GM.
That I can finally know that my running mate is here, my partner.
In just his second year as a GM, Pelinka and the Lakers brass were able to convince free agent LeBron James to sign with them, joining a young team with no established stars. The open secret that season was that the Lakers were likely going to use their assets to trade for Pelicans star Anthony Davis.
And did you see the look on Anthony Davis's face?
Yeah, he said, "That's my boy, I'm going to be
playing with him next year.
LeBron would claim that it would be, quote, amazing to play with AD. When questioned by the media, LeBron would deflect and list a group of great players he would enjoy playing with. See if any names stick out.
Would you like to play with Kevin?
Absolutely. Ask me if I like to play with Jimmy Butler. Say right now. Ask me about Kyrie Irving, Giannis. Ask me about Embiid, Ben Simmons. Go ahead, all of them. Luka Doncic. Ask me right now.
Yes, Luka Doncic, who was still a rookie 2 months into his career, was already thrown into comparisons with AD, Kyrie, and KD by LeBron. And Doncic himself would share the same admiration.
What was your favorite player growing up in the NBA that you admired?
LeBron James. He's like my idol, so I'm looking forward for that, yeah.
Now, who could have guessed that in just a little over 6 years later, these two, through incomprehensible circumstances, will end up as teammates? But before we get to that, a quick word from today's sponsor. Hey everyone, I'm super excited to talk to you today about HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. If you're tired of the usual meal planning stress, HelloFresh delivers fresh, pre-portioned ingredients right to your door. Plans change, life gets busy. That's why HelloFresh lets you easily customize your delivery from week to week. They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and HelloFresh agrees. In fact, they're giving all subscribers free breakfast for life. That means you'll enjoy a totally free breakfast item with every single HelloFresh delivery. Now that's important. HelloFresh now has more options to support your wellness journey than ever before. Dig into their biggest menu yet with 50 plus dinner options and even more market items that can suit any healthy lifestyle. So what are you waiting for? Go to the link in the description and use my code HoopsFeb10 and receive 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active if you're in the US. The link and code are valid in all countries and the respective local discount will apply. Thank you so much HelloFresh, and now back to the video. Now, back to the Lakers' very public pursuit of Anthony Davis, a shadow that hung over the team for the entire season, with proposed trades being leaked day in and day out. Ultimately, the trade did not happen. For Rob Pelinka, another public trade demand, another no deal. Not only that, the bad year continues for Pelinka, as Magic Johnson, the Lakers' president of basketball operations, would quit on the final day of regular season.
People around the Laker office was telling me Rob was saying things, and
Rob Pelinka,
and I didn't like those things being said behind my back, that I wasn't in the office enough, and so on and on. So I started getting calls from my friends outside of basketball saying those things now were said to them outside of basketball.
And these are people you trust.
Exactly. When I took the job, you know how many agents called me and said, you got to watch out for him. And I said, I got to give the guy a fair chance.
That summer, the Lakers would finally trade for Anthony Davis, failed to sign Kawhi Leonard after, again, a very public pursuit. But they would manage to win a championship, so I guess not that bad after all. On June 28, 2021, Nico Harrison would be hired by Mark Cuban as the general manager and president of basketball operations for the Dallas Mavericks.
It wasn't much of an interview process. It was a conversation. And he was telling me his process. And so I'm like, all right. 4 hours later, it's like, hey, he wants to sign you.
Oh, that fast. Wow.
I'm like, well, what about the process?
His first major move, to trade Kristaps Porzingis in a draft pick to the Wizards for Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans. Though this was a move heavily criticized by the fans at the time, the Mavs would make a run all the way to the Western Conference Finals, led by the duo of Doncic and Jalen Brunson. Harrison's next major move, to not re-sign Jalen Brunson. Seeing that Luka clearly needed a co-star, Harrison would trade for Kyrie Irving at the deadline. After Irving, Nico then set his eyes on another old client, Anthony Davis, but clearly did not have any